Now, following the most recent coup in Burkina Faso, discussions between representatives of the security services, social and religious organizations, as well as political parties, were opened up on Friday. About 300 people gathered in the capital city of Ouagadougou just 2 weeks after the Sahel state was rocked by its second military coup in less than 9 months. Now, Captain Ibrahim Traore, who led the September 30 coup, has been named head of Burkina Faso's interim government. To discuss these latest developments, we're joined by Africa analyst Jean Bwasa. Jean, thank you so much for joining us on our program this morning. Very quickly, I wonder if this move of appointing Captain Traore as the interim head of the government is a step in the right direction when we consider the political instability that we've seen since that coup almost 2 weeks ago.
Good morning, Tokozo. I think we are here in the land of the upright man, which was set forth by Thomas Sankara. And I would believe that Captain Ibrahim Traore, who is 34 years, so nearly the same age range with Thomas Sankara, would normally, as they did within a short period of time, to do a conference within 2 days as Africans and resulting to appoint somebody as a transitional leader, it's something that needs to be commendable. And I would believe that it should be paving the way for understanding between the people of Burkina Faso and their leadership, because the tragedy, the greatest tragedy we are facing in Africa is the lack of true leadership within our leaders. And if Captain Ibrahim Traore, nicknamed Captain IB, would be having the communication, the mobilization and the cooperation with his people and make good judgments that will lead to good decision, I think that should be normally the osmosis that we are looking into in Africa, where we have leaders that are leading ethically.
Jean, you're absolutely right. Speed in matters of any transitional government are key to attaining political stability where there hasn't been for a while. But something that you mentioned is quite key as well, and that's cooperation. And I wonder if this conference that Traore was able to assemble a mere 2 weeks after instigating that coup enjoys, confidence of the people of Burkina Faso that this national conference will in fact be able to put down rules, processes and procedures in place that will truly lead to Burkina Faso's return to constitutional rule. Is that confidence currently being enjoyed?
Well, I think he has got the support of the people of Burkina Faso. We could see the festive atmosphere that was there, and I would commend when I saw the images and the photos, and I would see Seydou Kinda was holding a 2-year-old child on the back, and I'm looking here at the future for this 2-year child. And that's commendable to see the Article 5 of the Constitution, which stipulates that the President would not go beyond that mandate of a transition that should normally bring forth the change that the Burkina Faso people would. And also the Article 21 that says the duration will only be 21 months from October 2 of this year. That would normally respect what ECOWAS, the regional force and the regional organization, has requested as imperative. So for me, the key aspect here is also the fact that we always talk about the leadership of a country, the leadership of a nation, the leadership of a company. But what is important also in a vessel is the fact that we must also have effective followers. By effective followers, I mean the people. There must not be a dichotomy between what the leadership is saying and what the aspiration of the people. If truly Captain Ibrahim Traore and his team of the 71 parliamentarians, as well as the 25 ministers that will be on board, can normally respond to what are the needs of the people of Burkina Faso, I do believe that in the same way Thomas Sankara brought confidence within his people, that will be the same way that the people of Burkina Faso would go back to work and bring the change that is needed, not only necessarily in Burkina Faso, but in the entire Africa, because this thing that we have been doing for the past 60 years is to point fingers at colonization, at imperialism. But what have we done ourselves as Africans to help and to bring the change that we need for our own mankind? Because how should I live as a leader? We should live in a manner that is beneficial for the mankind, for our brothers and sisters. And that is what we haven't done in the past 60 years.
Yeah. Another concern, very quickly, Jean, is the insurgency that's bringing a lot of volatility to the Sahel region right now. We know that groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State are both wreaking havoc in that region, and it is, in a way, fueling the political instability that's leading to a number of these coups that we're seeing in Burkina Faso and again in Mali. What is Captain Ibrahim Traore saying about the insurgency? How does he plan to quell the violence that is being meted out against his own people?
Well, my take on that, Ntokozo, is simple. I think now that they have a leader on board, is to call each and every person on board again for a dialogue that should normally find solutions to these terrorists, to the people that we call the jihadists and all this. It is very important that we remember that Africans, we used to sit under the palava tree, regardless of what we had done as a mistake, an error, or even kill the person. We would sit and try to find the way to resolve the challenges. So it is important now that they call a dialogue in the entire Sahel region, including ECOWAS, and say, can we pave the way for peace and build bridges of understanding between those that are not happy with the way we are governing, we are ruling, the way we are accepting one another. Because all that matters at the moment is intolerance of all kinds in the rest of the world, as well as in Africa.
Right. Jean Bwasa, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us on this morning's program and sharing your insights with us. That's Africa analyst Jean Bwasa talking to us there about developments out in Burkina Faso. On to this now.